For ACUSports.com, I'm Grant Boone with head football coach Adam Dorrel as the homecoming game is upon us this Saturday, 2:30 kickoff against Southeastern Louisiana. We'll talk about the Lions in just a sec. Coach, it looked like in that narrow loss to top 25 team in Nichols last Saturday that in the second half you found a little something offensively. It was your best half of yardage, 244 yards in the second half. What worked?
Well, I think guys were really focused on doing their job. Quarterback did a phenomenal job of checking the football down. I thought the protection got a little bit better in the second half, and just a good balance of run-pass. And I think with this offense, if you want to be great, you got to be able to do that. But I really just go back to a lot of guys making a lot of plays. I felt like we were very unselfish. You know, it was a tough day with the conditions, and so we were having to play a lot of guys. And honestly, for us, really slow start. But at the end there, I felt like the fact that we started rotating so many guys was really starting to pay off for us, especially offensively.
Yeah, 90-degree day, swampy, hot, sultry there down in Thibodaux, Louisiana. It does matter, doesn't it, if you have a great first half and not a great second half going into the next week? You do, because it was in the second half, you do take a little bit of something, don't you, from that?
Yeah, we certainly hope you do. And I think there's a lot of things that we got to take away from that game. And, again, obviously, to try to extract some confidence, because Nichols is a really good football team and we're right there. But the flip side is you got to also learn that we did make a lot of mistakes, especially on special teams. It was a very disappointing day special teams-wise, and it's something we got to get better with.
Yeah, they had 5 field goals, and they blocked a punt, recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. Your defense, though, Coach, continues. You give up one offensive touchdown. They every week – unless I'm forgetting one, they're giving you chances to win every week.
Oh, absolutely they are. They have answered the bell all year. They're definitely doing that. The thing that's really exciting for me as a head football coach is to, those guys were disappointed. They didn't think they played well. And they went back and looked at the film, not just the coaches and the players, and some of their run fits weren't great. They felt like they got off to a really sluggish start, and, they were disappointed in themselves. And so, I said it after the game, don't be disgruntled, be disappointed, and I felt like our guys were, and hopefully we'll learn from that moving forward. And but our defense, again, continues to play really good.
And what a challenge they have this weekend against Southeastern Louisiana, a team that leads the conference in rushing. They've won their last 4 games, and they're averaging more than 50 points per game. How are they getting it done offensively?
2 really good running backs and just a phenomenal offensive line, maybe one of the best we've seen this year. If you look at New Mexico, had a good O-line, obviously Colorado State, McNeese, and, now these guys are right there. They're big guys, and they move really well. Playing multiple quarterbacks. I think they played 4 quarterbacks on the year, and they're not making mistakes. They're not turning the ball over. They're being really efficient on offense, and then you factor that with their defense. It's a good recipe right now.
It is homecoming. This is your first homecoming at ACU. What are you wanting for your team in terms of experiencing the fun and meeting perhaps some of the former guys? The 1977 team is going to be honored 40 years after their national title. But it is a challenge, isn't it? Soak it in, but also block it out.
Yeah, it is. I think if you just, you try to be that simple with it with the players, and that's something we talked about Sunday, and we talked about Monday, we talked about yesterday, is just to, you want to have homecoming be a heightened sense of awareness, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I tell them, we've got one job, and that's to win the football game. But alluding to what you said, Grant, homecoming's a big deal. It's a big deal to me. I want it to be a big deal to our players. We talked about it yesterday. We try to give them a glimpse on why it's important to people. Talked about the championship team coming back with maybe some of the other players coming back and former greats. But as a head coach, you want your players to embrace homecoming in a really positive way. You want the student body to embrace that in a really positive way. And you do want the football game to be a focal point of that. And it's like I tell our guys, if we want that, then we have to play well. But if you want to have that strong homecoming tradition, I do think it starts with the football game. And again, you got to play well.
Yeah. And you get a sellout.
Got a sellout. Very excited. Still student tickets available, so please come on out.
All right, it is ACU in Southeastern Louisiana, part of a huge homecoming weekend, 2:30 kickoff at Wildcats Stadium. We'll have the pregame show on radio beginning at 2 o'clock.